Hello, everyone. Yusuf, my first message to you is thank you so much for putting on this event, Carbon and Silicon and Samurai. This is a really great opportunity to bring the AI surfer community together, and I'm so excited to be here with you to just talk a bit more about how I bring myself into the AI era and realms. So, your identity and AI times AI equals your AI advantage. I really believe that. A few things I want to say just to tell you a bit more about myself. One of my superpowers is that my mind is very strategic, and what that means is that I can be anywhere, I can be looking at something, hearing something, and my mind automatically puts together all the pieces, makes the connections, and outputs a very interesting perspective. And a lot of times what happens is people say to me, where did that come from? And how did you put all that together so fast? So that's one of the unseen superpowers that I have had my entire life. The other strength that I bring into the world as a natural gift is that I see the connections, I make the dots between seemingly unfamiliar things in the world. So I can see two different things and I see there's the pattern that's going on there. And that happens with people too. So I see the behavioral patterns in people very easily. And I'd say lastly, the last skill that I bring is an entire life of one-on-one coaching conversations with people from ages infants to adults 75 plus. So what I wanted to talk about today is your identity. What does that mean? We talk about it more and more now, but what it means to me is who you are, what you bring into the world based on your skill sets, your strengths, your insights, and your personality. And when we tie that together with AI, it makes a very interesting combination and a pattern that I started to see over the last 2.5 years. So I want to offer you, instead of thinking that you might be doing AI incorrectly, or you're thinking, why am I getting the same content slop, or why does this AI experience, when I go to a platform or use a tool, why am I not getting the outcomes that I hear other people getting? And this is something that over the last 2.5 years for me that I've also learned about. I've learned about myself. And the secret is, I believe, is bringing ourselves into the formula. So I'm going to demonstrate to you in 3 ways how that can show up. So if that's interesting to you, then I look forward to hearing your comments and giving your feedback after this event. So I wrote down some notes. So one of the things that your identity shows up in is how you prompt. And so in our prompting, we hear all the time, create context, give lots of details, but you rarely hear people say or describe how to infuse your self, your personality, how you think, your perspectives, your own insights, your own rhythms, your own colors, or your own genres. So One of the ways that I use prompting, any prompt that I do, what I've learned how to do it, is a couple things. I set up the prompt, I use lots of details, I think ahead in terms of what is my intention with the prompt. And so that's a really key piece. And that intention, how that is set up, is that I think about the outcome that I want to get when I do the prompting. But also, at the end of the prompt, what I do is that I also share within the prompt. I say, this is how I'm thinking. This is how I'm feeling about this topic. This is the reason why I want to that prompt this way. This is what I want to accomplish when I prompt like this. So, yes, this is giving the LLM more ways to think about how to answer the prompt and how to perform for me. But also, it's really getting into what I call like the flavoring of how we prompt and how we use AI. Some of the areas that I see this happen is within like social media. So this would be like the second area that I see that this can really impact your results. So as I go into my social media and I'm listening and I'm learning and I'm sharing, I actually take the time when I see if I'm reading somebody's response, I take a split second more to just look past the words and to look through the meaning of what they're saying. So somebody might say something regarding how, wow, Josette, I never, thought about this before in this way. And I'll try to understand where were they coming from in terms of their perspective. So at any given times, we are really always putting out to the world how we think, what's our intention, what's our focus, what's our energy like. And I pick up on these types of subtle cues very easily. Part of it is how we use our intuitive abilities. But on the other hand, it's just taking that split second and putting that into practice in terms of, okay, this is what somebody said, and then just checking in with my own intuition and getting a sense of what are they actually meaning behind that. And sure, you could say it's guessing, but I feel that over time, what I've learned to do is to appreciate on a deeper level what they're actually saying. And that has totally changed my results with my AI prompting and with the results that I get. Within social media, this happened yesterday. This is a great story. Yesterday, I was in social media in school. Somebody wrote a comment back to me, and it was a simple one sentence, and I was working on a project that I'm working on now, and I'll tell you more about that later on. But as I was working on this project, it gave me that perspective. So what it did was, I'm working on this project, and somebody says something, and what my brain did was it made this very subtle connection point, and it was amazingly powerful. So this one sentence ended up being an entire system that changed the trajectory of my project, my complete project. The AI even gave me feedback and said, this was the missing piece in your infrastructure. So from one sentence of, if I was listening correctly and listening through that person's comments, I get this total shift and create this entire piece of my system to be inputted. I mean, what a dramatic change that can happen. I find this happening weekly, on a weekly basis. And I find it fascinating how it's not just things that I read, it's things that I hear, it's a piece of content that comes across, it's an intonation in a video that I hear someone say, you know, a few words that are intonated in a way that I pick up on the energy of it, and I take that and then I expand on it. I go back into my AI. I tell the AI exactly how I'm thinking about what that person is talking about, where the energy is in what they said. And through just doing that, I create whole systems, an entire lead-ins to new ideas, new concepts. Over the last 2.5 years, I have coined over 70 pieces of words, phrases, terms. That is fascinating to me, and it all came because I was paying attention. I believe I was paying attention and using my intuitive abilities, and I believe we can all do this. We all have this capacity to listen and reframe and bring ourselves into what we're doing with our AI platforms. So keep that in mind as something that can really supercharge what you're doing right now. The other thing is, when it comes to problem solving, I did my first vibe coding last summer in kind of June, July. I'm in my 60s. This is, you know, I started to do AI through the AI Surfer. Thank you, Dallas and the team. And I have loved being a part of the community. This is one of the things that I absolutely love, the information that we gain and the perspectives that we have and the trainings that we get. So to go back to the story around this app that I developed, I was getting frustrated. This is how it all started. I was getting frustrated with going to this platform, going to that platform, going to this next thing, learning about what are the features to this platform, how am I supposed to use it, what are their policies, reading through the policies, not understanding them. So in order to create in order to solve that problem for myself, I decided to throw my spaghetti at the wall, as they say, and begin to do some vibe coding. And all I did, it was very casual. All I did was I went to bolt.new and I started typing in how I was working with AI, the frustrations that I had, and I began to program an app that would help me solve this problem of having to understand all these programs and go through all these issues. Long story short, that app over the next few weeks and months became a viral tool. And it was unknown to me, actually, in the first 3 weeks. I just kept on adding to it. And one day I was curious about what was happening with the app. So I inputted, okay, well, what are some other things that I need to do in the app. And some analytics came up, and it had informed me that there was 103,000 users in 47 countries. I was blown away by this. At first, I didn't actually even trust the numbers. So whatever happened, I was amazed, as you can imagine. I was shocked. And at that time, I didn't even monetize at that time. I wanted to just give the value. So my next way of thinking was, how do I continue to keep this pace up and to keep the quality of the app going so that I could grow a following? Long story short, as a new vibe coder, there were some things that I began to not understand. And a violation notice came up, and I didn't know how to tackle it. I emailed Bolt. They directed me to another platform, Netlify and Supabase, and they were all kind of going back and forth and suggesting that they had nothing to do with this violation and they weren't sure what was going on. I couldn't find people who were also knowledgeable about Bolt. So anyway, I ended up losing that entire database. Yes. Frustrating. Yes. Did I get pissed off? Yes. I was putting in a lot of time and energy and effort and desire to really build this thing. And it was costing me close to $400 each and every month. That was the level that I built that app up to. Anyway, I say all this not to brag about numbers or anything like that. I've actually just put all that in the past as a steep learning curve. And what it's done for me now, it has given me the empowerment to really know I can build anything. And what I want to put out to you, with the power of AI, we have the capacity to build anything that we want to. So one of the ways that I'm passionate around how I want to work with AI is three things. And this leads to the projects that I'm doing right now. Firstly, I'm super passionate about each and every person really understanding their identity, who you are, how you show up in the world, how you think about things, what are your perspectives. Bring all that into your experience with AI and your prompting. Secondly, the power of AI in itself. Keep up with the platforms. Use it in the way that meets you in a very small way, and then just progress over time. That's exactly how I've done it. Some things I have not jumped onto the bandwagon in terms of just throwing myself into it too quickly, because I've learned now to just pace the timing of platforms, pace the timing of how I use them and where my strengths are at this point. Thirdly, is the potential of how AI can bring each one of us to what's now being called the identity economy. Super powerful. I mean, we've gone from information economy and all of that. Now, the most important thing that you can bring into your AI pursuits, your businesses, your trainings now is your identity. I love the fact that we have people in our community, Carolina and Ikigai. We have so many people who are right now creating their own identity, their strengths, their skills, and bring it into their experience. So do that as a part of your work with AI and your business. It is transformational. I would say that your identity is your AI advantage, and that is one of the most powerful things that I can think of for anyone to really take to heart today. So I hope that this has given you a few tips and a few ways to think about how can you do something different with your AI experience. And I hope that you can appreciate how transformative it is. It's really, this is what Dallas speaks about all the time, is the 90-10, bringing our human side and allowing the AI to do most of the work for us. That 10% is also, I think of it as the 1,000% that makes up the 10%. So think of all the ways that you can now leverage everything that you're doing just by taking the time to bring yourself into the process. So my name is Josette. I am from Vancouver, BC, and I've been a part of the AI Surfer for the last 2.5 years, and I had the opportunity to meet Youssef only in the last week. So Youssef, thank you so much for this opportunity to be giving this short, brief training today and to offer my perspectives and unique insights around how to build with AI. So remember, your identity is your AI, is your AI economy at this point. I wish you all the best with your pursuits, and thank you so much for participating and taking the time to watch this video. Take care. Bye for now.